Just a minute. In fact, there is only a minute left before the live starts. We will be starting the live. Quick thing. Always preparing the environments where we don't live, it's all a bit more complicated. In a minute, we'll start today's live stream. We're in Joinville with a lot of emotions. My mother-in-law is in the village, but we seem to be experiencing some peaks of consciousness, a few moments. If she returns, maybe she will. We're here. We're going to do the live stream, just the beginning. Okay, it's 7 p.m., not 8 p.m., okay? I put it an hour earlier, but it's 7 p.m., it's 7 a.m., we're in Joinville, and today is July 9th, 2025. Today's live stream is titled Music, Perception, and Cognition. The artist giving flow to the energy of the people. Look how interesting we're talking about this. Music, perception, and cognition. In a moment, I'll talk a little about perception and cognition. The artist giving flow to the energy of the people. What do I mean by energy, right? Energy is the following. Some tensions that you sometimes wanted to express during the day but didn't express, it remains as a tension inside your brain, and this tension cannot be metabolized. So it's a type of energy. It has no flow to release this tension. When this tension is mass, then you have artists sensing that there's tension in the masses and that needs to be released. Then the artist unconsciously starts making music that flows this tension. So that's what I'm talking about. The artist flows the energy of the people. He feels a lump in the throat of the people, a lack of expression. We all need freedom of expression. The artist feels this, so the people aren't having freedom of expression in the world. Social, political, or religious environment, then an artist comes along and, look, expresses himself by listening to this music, and sometimes this expression liberates. Okay, let's talk about the following. Music acts on interoception. What is interoception? It's things, it's deep feeling, it's visceral feeling. Why does music affect interoception? Because this interoception, your visceral feeling, is where your feelings are. Your feelings are a very bodily posture, viscera, internal, interoception. Obviously, there are many other senses, but we summarize them in interoception. There were many others, but we summarize them in interoception to be more aligned with maximal control. So music will affect interoception. It will try to modulate it. For example, when you have a feeling of astonishment, a pleasant astonishment, even in the sense of music, you even feel butterflies in your stomach, in your intestines, something. It's stirring your guts. Music will stir your guts in other places too. And this stirring of your guts, this stirring of these feelings, it will try to resolve, it will modulate tensions in your brain. And the brain is receiving this visceral command, this postural command, and it will try to stir it. Music is a micro self. We have tensional selves, of course, during the day in our daily lives. Music is a micro self. It's an insight for you to qualify a little. There are people even who, when they do something, try to do it with music because it seems like they feel more grounded because it's a micro self. This micro self with music in its ears, suddenly this beat can do things that without music it would have a little more difficulty. The vibe of the crowd. What's the vibe of your music? This micro self that's triggering it. It tenses the viscera a little more or a little less, this pro-interoception, and now you have a freedom or a focus to do something. So music creates and dissolves states of attention and induces bioelectric emotions. One thing is feeling. Feeling is something else that's showing the visceral part. Feeling is a slightly slower metabolism. First, the visceral part, the fibers that rise from the axons that rise, not all of them are millions. It's slow, it rises slowly. So the feeling is this slow thing. It's a slow thing, a feeling. So the music induces bioelectric emotions, which are practically neuronal firing. You felt this. At some point, you get a fright, and the sensation that even the tip of your finger gives a little tremor, a little shock. This is already bioelectric. Emotions are basically bioelectric. Music affects the bioelectrical system. So at some point, when the conductor makes a quick movement, a sound, a beat, or a drum, the music triggers these rapid contractions, adding these bioelectric emotions, but it also gradually mobilizes these deeper feelings, which are more stable, even more difficult to move. And these deeper, more stable movements are the feelings that keep the selves in tension. See how interesting what we're talking about. Music is affecting your emotions. It may also be resolving brain tensions. And it can also be putting pressure on or creating a very strong tension in the brain. Music can create tension in the brain, and music can also create energies. Energy is this unresolved tension, but it depends on the music, the dissonance, the pauses, the beats. It can create energy in you. It can trigger an activation. In the other live stream, I talked about activated consciousness. It can trigger an activation. For example, some armies in the past and not anymore, but before going to war, a beat of music, something activates everyone. This activation, it's fake, it's a lie, yes, but it activates people, activates a lot of people, and it gives a sense of belonging, actually. And this belonging is very strong because it activates a lot of people. This activation of a lot of people for war, for peace, for the movement of, I don't know, liberation, brings them together, creates a group, creates belonging. Music is part of this. I'll talk a little more about this in a moment. So, music, if you think about it, has neurosurgeries. We experience unmetabolized tensions and emotional experiences that, because they were expressions or resolutions, accumulate in the form of energy. So I'm talking about aneology. That's it, something you didn't experience. Yes, you didn't experience it because you didn't have freedom of expression. Yes, but by not experiencing it because you didn't have freedom of expression, you have an energy inside your head. You don't know how to get that energy out, but you can get it out. So it depends on the music. You get it out through the music, through the beat. And if you're playing the music or reproducing it or dancing to it or singing that song, suddenly you're getting that energy out, the energy, okay? Because it was accumulated, that energy. This energy is what your body can't express because of what you were doing inside the church, because you were in front of your father, your mother, your brother, your son, I don't know, but you couldn't express yourself. These things you didn't have the freedom to express in a moment. Your body locks up with a tension that's a cerebral energy. It's a tension inside your brain that has no metabolism, no speech, no movement to release it. Then the brain starts spinning back and forth, changing the cone here, there, and there, trying to release that energy because something gets stuck in your throat and then you don't even know what it is. What is it? Lack of freedom of expression. Your body wanted to express itself, but at the moment you were in, it couldn't express itself. It was going to say ah. It couldn't say ah at that moment. So that expression gets accumulated. So what you're going to have to do is that energy has to come out. The energy is unblocked and it begins. It was somehow the energy was blocked and somehow you prevented yourself from taking action, from doing something, from speaking, from crying, from dancing. You wanted to dance, you wanted to stretch, you wanted to do something, but you couldn't. So There's energy in the brain. That's not good for anyone. I'll show you what the body does to resolve this energy, but you can do it with music, with dance, with running, with walking, with something to release what you couldn't express. Have you lost your freedom of expression? Seek elimination, the escape of your brain's energy by playing music, movement, aerobics, the gym, stretching, meditation, somehow to release it. No one is saying you're a good or bad person. It doesn't matter. What happens is that throughout the day, you'll have these energies. There are energies. What is energy? It's a lack of freedom of expression. The body can't express itself. And when it can't, it gets stuck inside the brain because it's an energy that hasn't been metabolized. Without metabolism, without outlet, without speech, without dance, without movement. So it got stuck. Sometimes traumatic memories go this way, leaving an energy, but traumatic memory is more complex because it controls and can affect a self and works on the traumatic memory itself. So it's another path. The energy is a little simpler, what we experience day to day. So, what are we going to do? What will your body try to do to resolve this energy? If you're not listening to your music, not doing your dance, not walking, and if you're not expressing what's being blocked inside you, these energies, the body will make two strong movements in phasic REM and tonic REM. Remember, REM is the part of sleep where you dream. A dream in which you see a lot of things and feel a lot of emotion, fear, aggression, love, and passion. It's a mixture of all feelings and emotions. It's fantastic. It will remake you. The dream remakes you. In the phasic realm, there are many images, many emotions. In the tonic realm, not so much. The tonic realm is a little less, it's more restricted to images. The tonic realm reorganizes the proprioceptive motor patterns. Your consciousness in King Antony is how it controls the movement that should be made at the right time. In fact, what actually happens is that King Antony will give you a strength of the Acus. Look how interesting Acus. Acus is a term that evidently came from the Andeans, from the Andean culture, from the Andes. Iapos means the following. In each environment you go, you have a body movement and XYZ body expression. Each environment has an expression, a space for you to express yourself with movements and with speech and with tears and with laughter. Each environment has its specific movements. If you couldn't express yourself in the environment, and it's here in the bad tonic that we will rearrange the pattern, the body will rearrange the pattern for positive motors and will adjust to this bodily perception with awareness of movement. So basically, the child went to that environment, whether church or theater, and started messing around a lot and receiving some reprisals. At night during the tonic dream, they start to adjust. Oops, that I don't want to do it there anymore. But why don't I want to do it? Because I received reprisals? No, because that environment demands a certain behavior. That environment has habits. That environment has its own extended exception of what I should express myself, how I should express myself to adapt to the environment. It's not the loss of freedom of expression, it's an adaptation of how you can move in that environment. If you go to the theater, a 4-year-old child has very free movement. They don't have the A pose, they don't know how to behave in the theater. So, what they'll need is an adaptation. While if you do it in the educational system, okay, nice, but if you don't, the tonic king is doing it. They will adapt your body movements, your expression in the tonic king with your consciousness, what I can, where I have freedom of expression in the sense absolute freedom of bodily expression, emotional expression, speech, dance, freedom of expression. Sometimes the people who defend freedom of expression, no one will lose my freedom, but freedom also exists for people who are homosexual or not. That's a great emotional freedom, and if it can't get through, it blocks it. It has energy. And if it has energy, let's go to music, let's go to the disco, let's go to movement, let's go to dance, let's get that freedom out, that energy out. Otherwise, you can fall into an active awareness of being, now I'm blah. Blah blah, a follower of something or other, now I'm totally that, a sect or something, an ideology, now I'm in the ideology of, and now it's life or death, ideology D. Why is it life or death, ideology D? Because your energy can't find any other outlet. So you resort to the radicalism of an ideology. Hold on. The corporate show doesn't deserve this. Your body deserves the release of this energy. And it can be done through physical exercise, stretching, meditation, running, dancing, the gym. That's where it's released. And if at this moment you can't have freedom of expression because the system you're in is, I don't know, God, boss, family, you don't have freedom of expression there. You have to do what your pen tells you. Yes, but in another environment, in your room, free yourself in another way. Don't restrict yourself because freedom of expression is being able to let these energies flow. Go out, don't block your life. And this energy is being released from peak behavior. It's being released in sleep. Tonic REN. Okay. And what about basic REN? REN, the sleep stages are N1, N2, and N3. I really like N3 because it's the time when your body really washes the neurons, washes the glia, washes the brain, go on, really washes, okay? Removes the dirt, N3. Then you reach REM, that's when you're back. Sometimes you're in N1, N2, your consciousness is gone, you're not conscious, but in REM, you come back dreaming, you're back there. At this moment, there are two lethal stages of sleep. This tonic sleep, which I told you about, your consciousness will try to adapt afterward, how it behaves in each environment, how I move my body in each environment, how I express myself in each environment. The appropriateness of expression in the sleep is tonic, and the reinphasic is emotional fluctuation. Reinphasic promotes emotions, sensory, emotional, and symbolic explosions, simulating scenarios and emotions that could not be expressed while awake. It simulates that you could not express yourself. So now it will express them to free you, to save you. The phasic king comes to save you. There are emotions that you could not express while awake, but here they are. Here in the phasic king, the brain can dissolve, reenact, and reconfigure your tensional self. It recreates yourself. In the phasic king, emotions, feelings, and emotions are recreated, readapted. That's fantastic. So let's go. Let's go back to music now, since I said it. No, there's one more. This general overview, there's one more. Music has something interesting when it's heard and felt by many. Look at that. Heard and felt by many. A rave, a song in church, a theater, a group of people singing and engaging in music. What happens to belonging? Belonging is a human sense. Belonging is when your attention is focused on a source of information or misinformation. If it's fake news, that also applies. And everyone is focused on that source of information or misinformation. And then, with everyone focused on that source, you have a sense of belonging. For example, if I'm in a group of friends, at a camp, for example, and I want to create a sense of belonging focused on an area that interests me, then suddenly I'll say, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, what is this? I start promoting drawing attention to certain points, the forest, the lack of water, or that, and I start narrating the expectation to everyone, and everyone starts to have it. If I'm a little more of a leader, everyone starts to have their attention captured by what I say. And when I say it, it's captured. I want this, I want that. Look at my video, look at the video I have. So I'm capturing the group, but if the whole group is captured by the attention I'm giving them, there's a sense of belonging in the group around that. I'm also captured by what I'm saying, and there's a sense of belonging. Why am I saying this? Music has this power. If at any point a group is a little disjointed, let's sing a song with clapping. If you're religious and religious music engages you, spirituality, sing while clapping because your body is moving, your speech is setting the music, and musicality is also trying to liberate and activate your faith. Faith isn't an activated brain, it's an activated consciousness. Activate the consciousness of faith, but music will now bring perfection. We're a very happy little people. It's a really cool song. It's cool and gives you a sense of belonging. It's a song that sings about these things. That's it. So, belonging is paying attention to a piece of information. Everyone's equally focused on this group of information. Fantastic. Let's go. Music, perception, and cognition. The artist unleashing the energy of the people. Music is the micro me. Music is a way of being. Sometimes you listen to some American songs even that are really good, right? And you feel something, man, what an energy, right? What a thing. Or Brazilian ones too, some fantastic ones, but there's music that you feel an energy. In that moment, you're a micro me, and that music you can do something because it's a micro me. It touches your emotions. It touches that faster part, those emotions that I call more bioelectric, right? But it also touches your root feelings, and it's a micro me. Man, you're listening to calmer, you're in that micro me. This micro me, when the music ends, it leaves. Look, every moment and every action in your life is a self that comes to do, and it leaves in the end. You don't stay the same. You think you stay, but you don't. You were one in the morning, another in the afternoon, one hungry, one eating. It's always different. Of course, you recall some memories and give the perception of being the same, but perception is always different on top of the tense self you're in. So, music, perception, and perception is another interesting thing. Perception is always your reality. But I'm perceiving the wrong thing. There's no need to perceive the wrong thing. What you perceive is your reality. But suddenly your reality has nothing to do with the 20, 30 people around you. It has nothing to do with science, nothing to do with anything. Okay. But reality fails, but it's still yours. We have to respect people because they understand their reality. It's a matter of awareness. But this perception is flawed. It's a lie. It's perception. People's perception is their reality. People can't say you're perceiving wrong, so what should I perceive? No, they perceive what they perceive, and what they perceive is reality. Is it the truth? No, truth is relational. Let's talk. Reality is what each individual perceives, and cognition is already an elaboration. I actually prefer metacognition because you perceive this perception you have of your reality and cognition or metacognition. Man, what am I thinking about this? Why do I think this? Why did I realize this? Why did my attention drop? Because perception is also the result of attention. It's the stimulus, okay? It's the stimulus. But if your attention isn't on the stimulus, perception differentiates. It's the stimulus and the attention. Did you notice the perception I mentioned about music? You have music, everyone's singing, the stimulus is the same, the music is the same, the baptism is cool. And this music is releasing the energy of many people there. Man, belonging, we are one. We are one. Isn't it beautiful? We are one. And here comes the second part of today's live stream title, The Artist Unleashing the Energy of the People. A good artist feels the anxiety of the people. He feels the anxiety of this group of people. And then he simply claps or makes a face or makes a joke or becomes a comedian, even for a moment, for that place, for that moment to release the tension of this group. Tell a joke, laugh, do something to release. By releasing this energy, people are free, free to think, free to be. So, folks, that's pretty much what I wanted to leave you with this Wednesday. Music, perception, and cognition. This month we'll have The ICMPC is an international meeting on music perception, and cognition in Sao Paulo. It's an international event that will now take over the Southern Hemisphere. It's the first time it's been held in the Southern Hemisphere, and it's in Sao Paulo. If anyone wants to learn more about this, ICMPC 18 is the 18th version of the International Congress on Music Perception and Cognition. Fantastic. Seeing these things happening, how the mind receives this, interacts, how the artist acts in a much more scientific way. A big hug to you all. See you next Wednesday.